1,000-pound sisters Tammy Slaton issues a blunt PSA to fans after disgusting behavior. Tammy Slaton is putting her foot down. This week, the 1,000-pound sisters star issued a blunt PSA on social media to sternly insist that her followers stop sending her unsolicited nude photos online. Sharing the bold message to her Instagram stories on Tuesday, January 14, Slaton started out her post by writing, "Listen people," to her followers, while calling out the disgusting behavior some users have apparently been exhibiting lately. She went on to call it disrespectful for anyone to send me any kind of nudes, while noting, "I don't wanna see anyone without clothes on. I don't care if you're on Google and a half-naked man on it and it said it's Kentucky Ig dude." She wrote, adding, "I don't know them." The personality didn't specify any details regarding the unwanted photos she's been receiving lately, but it's safe to say she's had enough of them. In her post on Tuesday, Slaton also noted that she often has kids around her, seemingly referring to her young nephews. Gage Dion, 4, and Glenn Allen, 2, who are the sons of Slaton's sister and 1,000-pound sisters co-star Amy Slaton, 37. "What happens if I open a message around the kids, and there, sick, is a nude?" the 38-year-old reality star wrote. To wrap up her post, Slaton made one final request to her fans, while imploring them, "Just please be respectful, thank you." 1,000-pound sisters, 8 reasons Tammy Slaton may leave the show for good. Who will take her spot as the show's big star? Tammy Slaton is arguably 1,000-pound sisters' biggest star. But there are signs she may leave the beloved show for good. The series premiered in 2020 and chronicled the incredible weight loss journeys of 38-year-old Tammy and her 37-year-old sister, Amy Slaton. It even gets its provocative title from Tammy and Amy, who once weighed a combined 1,000 pounds. When they made their TV debuts, Em weighed over 400 pounds, while Tammy weighed over 600 pounds. Neither of the sisters was living their best lives, but Tammy was barely mobile. She couldn't do anything for herself, rarely left the house, and was a prisoner of her own body. Despite her diminished quality of life, Tammy continued to gain weight, getting up to 725 pounds at her heaviest. At her heaviest, Tammy seemed to just give up. She dropped her diet, stopped trying to up her activity level, and started drinking with a bad group of friends all the time. Not only did Tammy give up on herself, but so did everyone else. Then Tammy fell ill and had to be rushed to the hospital. She was put in a week-long medically induced coma, and, when she awoke, she realized she had to do something, or she'd die. She checked herself into a weight loss rehab facility, treated her food addiction, got bariatric surgery, and lost a stunning 500 pounds. Losing so much weight changed Tammy's life, and there are signs the 1,000-pound sisters season 6 star could be finished with the show that made her a star. Tammy's been through so much she wants a fresh start. Checking into the weight loss rehabilitation facility was a turning point in Tammy's life. Not only did it set her on her path toward health and fitness, but it also led Tammy to her husband. Tammy met another patient, 45-year-old Caleb Willingham, and the couple quickly fell in love. It was a big departure from Tammy's usual romantic interests, as Caleb was the first overweight man she had dated. Still, the two bonded quickly and were married in a small ceremony attended by family and friends, though Tammy and Caleb were deeply in love. Tammy lost enough weight to qualify for bariatric surgery, while Caleb continued to gain more weight. In 2023, Tammy sadly announced Caleb had died due to health complications. They were on different weight loss journeys. Tammy was devastated by the loss, and could be part of the reason she wants to leave the show and have a fresh start. Tammy has wanderlust. She wants to expand her horizons before losing weight, Tammy was trapped in her house. Leaving was a big affair that required a wheelchair, ramp, oxygen tank, specialty van, and someone strong enough to wheel Tammy around. She was rarely even leaving the house much, so traveling was out of the question. Since her bariatric surgery, Tammy has grown more adventurous. Tammy wants to leave Kentucky, so she can expand her horizons. During 1,000 Pound Sisters Season 5, Tammy and the rest of the Sladens went to Florida for a family vacation. It was Tammy's first airplane ride, and her first trip to the ocean. Later that year, Tammy made a dream come true by going to Disney World for the first time. Domestic travel went so well, Tammy decided to expand her horizons internationally. During 1,000 Pound Sisters Season 6, Tammy and the Sladens went across the pond to the UK. Seeing more of the world has made Tammy eager to expand her horizons. Tammy's feud with Amanda family and business don't mix after getting back from the rehab facility. Tammy moved out of her own place and into a rental house owned by one of her siblings, 44-year-old Amanda Halterman. Tammy had been renting Amanda's guest house and accused her of being a bad landlord. She alleged Amanda refused to make repairs promptly. After a massive fight during a 1,000 Pound Sisters Season 6 family meeting, Tammy and Amanda said terrible things to each other. And Tammy put in her notice to move out of Amanda's house. The fight got worse, and the sisters didn't speak to each other for months. Since then, Amanda has gotten more screen time than usual, and Tammy could be annoyed at having to share the spotlight. Tammy feels let down by her family, but she also feels suffocated by them. Tammy's familial ire wasn't solely reserved for Amanda. After Tammy's big fight with Amanda during 1,000 Pound Sisters Season 6, Tammy told Amy she was also angry at their other siblings. She alleged that Chris and Misty hadn't been there for her since she got back from the rehabilitation facility. 44-year-old Chris Combs and 48-year-old Misty Wentworth. She said Misty used to call her every day when she was in rehab, but the calls stopped once Tammy got back home. The Sladens are a close-knit family, which has its pros and cons. Ironically, Tammy is so mad at Chris, considering he's the one who gave her a place to live after her big fight with Amanda left Tammy homeless. The Sladens are a close-knit family, and their dynamic is a big part of the show. If Tammy's disappointed by her family, she could want to leave the show to get away from them. Tammy wants to leave Kentucky. She could be finished with the bluegrass state. Tammy has recently been threatening to leave Kentucky, and it's largely because of her family. 1,000 Pound Sisters films in Kentucky, where the show cashes in on lucrative tax incentives designed to lure productions to the bluegrass state. If Tammy moves away from Kentucky, as she has been threatening to do, it could mean the end of the show. Tammy could, in theory, live in a different state but return to Kentucky during production. The incentives are probably what makes the show possible. The bottom line is Tammy and Amy are the stars of the show, and if Tammy leaves Kentucky, the show will likely be cancelled. However, that wouldn't be a sustainable solution. Tammy should stop threatening to leave the show, or producers may decide for her. Tammy wants to flex her independence. She can finally take care of herself. After Tammy had bariatric surgery and lost 500 pounds, she regained most of her mobility. She used to need help with basic daily chores like bathing and cleaning her house. Since losing weight, Tammy has regained her mobility and her independence. Understandably, she wants to flex her newfound independence, and it could lead to the 1,000 Pound Sisters Season 6 star leaving the show. The last remaining vestige of Tammy's dependence on her family is her refusal to learn to drive. Before Tammy lost weight, she couldn't fit in a regular car seat, let alone the driver's seat, so she never learned to drive. Back then, she had to be driven around in a specialty van with the middle seat ripped out so she could sit on the floor. Tammy was too big for a seatbelt, so it wasn't safe for her. Now that she can easily fit into the driver's seat of any car, Tammy has resisted learning to drive. Tammy will never be independent until she can drive herself, but once that happens, her time on the show could be limited.